Hi, everybody. Today we have Dr. Tony Prensa in the house, and he is a highly accomplished executive leader in project management office. Probably so many people who are watching this video have met or seen Dr. Prensa before. He actually is a leader in project and portfolio management as well, information systems and technologies. He holds a doctorate in organizational leadership with a major in information systems and technologies, and is a certified PMO professional, actually one of the best, if not the best, certified project management professional, and ITILIV certified. He has extensive experience managing and overseeing large information systems and projects and programs, strategic planning, and seamless IT implementations. He adeptly engineers and re-engineers business processes and actually takes care of change and IT infrastructure to drive profitability within organizations. He pushes efficiency and growth within all of the corporations that he has worked with. Dr. Tony, it's a pleasure to have you with us today. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm better talking to you, Doa, and thank you very much for having me here. It's a great honor.
This is amazing, and the pleasure is mine. And I've been waiting for this episode, Dr. Prensa. You have such extensive, can we say, global knowledge about project management. And I always had this question on my head that I wanted to ask you. What is the biggest pain that happened for project managers, specifically after COVID-19, you think?
Well, so I would say that I was a victim of the pandemic, post-pandemic. So I basically burned out for all the work that I did. So I was the director of implementation for one of the biggest companies in the payment industry. So the amount of projects that we have to help people to get the money in their pocket so they can buy food, that was that was very intense. There's working hours, extensive hours, weekends to make that happen. But at the same time, so it was a great satisfaction for my team and for me, because I always say, so we are helping people in those countries that they couldn't go to the bank branches or to the ATMs to get the money to buy food. So we created a lot of innovative solutions so they can get the money. So we saw that as a social contribution to all the countries. So in the company that I used to work, we have around 20 countries. We serve around 20 countries in Latin America and the Caribbean. So we were very fortunate to help these countries and these citizens, these people, in that kind of situation. So the COVID so left us with a lot of learning experience. So we switched from working at the office to working from home. A lot of mental health issues with people. So it's like the life stops. So for example, myself, I have my routine to do the thing after work at the office, but then I was working from home. So I never stopped. So I started working early in the morning to late at night. So never stopped. So that happened to all the people around us and the project managers. Dealing with stakeholders remotely is not the same for stakeholder engagement. So that's how I say the consequences of the COVID-19 and the life that we have today is after that. So we have before COVID and after COVID, and everything has changed in business, in the profession, and in the personal lives as well.
Wow, you think the percentage of projects succeeding after COVID increased or decreased?
So my personal experience, So the success, and that was because of the intensity. So a lot of people will agree with me that when you work from home, so you commit more time. So it is helps a little bit your health as a person because you never stop. You don't take the time to go have lunch or to get a coffee. It's like connected all the time, talking to a terminal, so with group in collaboration. So for me, I consider the amounts of projects also increase. We adopted different disciplines, so now we agile, so we deliver, so the concept of delivering value that took place because we have, for example, in my case, so we have a project, so we need to deliver, let's say, a digital uh, uh, application to serve some service. So, so we focus on that. So that was the thing that added value to organizations. So instead of just thinking about big implementation for a year, 2 years.
Yeah.
So in that sense, because of their agile adoption, so the changing priorities that happen during that period of time, I think that success of project implementations increased.
Wow. Like it was did like COVID create a sort of shock where people, it was a sort of bottleneck, and then afterwards when people, I mean, got a grip of handling things remotely, then it's going to be like a steep,
Exactly.
efficiency, effectiveness kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah, so a lot of things about that. So it's more about efficiency, delivering on time, and also the business environment changed because of the competition. So who's gonna get out first? So a lot of developments, the digital transformation, a lot of organizations that they know. So the only way to see it is when the digital transformation concepts started got more popular. So a lot of organizations, they say this is the only way that we can survive because now the world knows that. So we have some weaknesses, so that everything needs to be digital, automated. The concepts of artificial intelligence around is also that makes us to be more efficient and deliver values, to be more punctual and more
Yes.
exact about the things that we need to do.
It's like COVID-19 triggered or sort of catalyzed the digital revolution or the digital evolution in a way.
Exactly. So that's it, and then that continue and never stop. I think never will stop. And with all the developments of artificial intelligence in all disciplines, all careers in our lives, so that will never stop. So the world will never.
We're running now. We're catching up with technology like
Exactly.
every morning we wake up to catch up with what's going on today. Absolutely. So
Exactly.
like what does it feel like, or what is it like when you're working across many regions? I mean, across the Americas, North and South and Latin America, and like were all of these companies facing the same challenges, Dr. Prensa? Like, or did they have different challenges in different regions, according to your experience during that period?
There is a common denominator. So I always have people that have worked with me. They always I consider that I am a people person.
Yes, you
So
are.
so we were with people and for people. So when you talk about the same challenges, I say there's some common challenges, but there are also challenges that are specific to the region. For example, in my case, I worked a lot with Latin America. So we had the same challenge here in US with digital transformation. So we need to go digital. All the businesses, I can say that no organization in the world is thinking about going digital. How can we do more with less? How can we automate process? How can we deliver faster products or services? So the same happened in all the continents, in Asia, Europe, North America, Latin America. But what makes a difference is the affordability. Can organizations in Latin America is a cost-conscious region. So everything about cost, they have the same needs, but they can afford it. They can afford it by the technologies different from US and Europe or countries that they have the means to acquire these technologies and conduct those projects. So that's a challenge. Another challenge is about resources. So sometimes we don't have everything that we need in Latin America in terms of the knowledge or the access to certain resources that you have here in US and in other countries. So that would say there's a lot of challenges that are similar, but there are others that are specific. All the regulations are very different in other countries than US. In other countries, maybe they don't have a lot of protection for the workers that we have here. So that makes a little difference. But I would say, in summary, the challenges are about the same in the entire world. So we live in a big country with the globalization, with the advancing technologies. So it's like you. So I'm here in Florida, USA, and you are in another continent, very far away. And we are talking here like we are neighbors. So that makes things that we learn from everywhere, and it's a common knowledge for the entire planet. So
Yes, definitely. Oh my goodness. Yes, it is. Yes, it was.
exactly.
Absolutely. It was a ride. And do you think that the readiness, I get the limitations, the resources, the speed of changing the regulations will vary from region to region, but do you think people on the human level, the readiness to take the leap so that they can manage projects remotely, do you think the readiness was the same here and there, or like some people were resisting that kind of leap?
No. So for example, that transition from being in an office to work from home have been very difficult for example, in Latin America. Not all countries, they have infrastructure,
Yes.
meaning, and the resources, meaning, for example, in US, some company, they pay something to the workers, so they know that you need to pay more for internet, so you need to have a space in your house for an office, so that you need to buy a desk, that you need to buy the equipment, computer, increase the internet services. But these resources are not widely available in other regions that they don't have that. So I have some experience with some company, I don't gonna mention a name, but they live in a small apartment, probably a family of 5, living in a 2-bedroom apartment. So the person,
Very
they don't have a
challenging.
space to focus because the kids running around, the noise, they didn't have air conditioning, so the noise on the street, so you can listen when you have those visual meeting. So that makes it was very uncomfortable, it's uncomfortable for this thing because of the resources. It's not the same. So I think that's created also some impact in switching from the office to stay at home.
Like physical impediments. Some people really had some real physical impediments. It's not just a matter of psychology at all, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes the same infrastructure. For example, there's a lot of countries that have power issue. But, but at the same time, you don't have the means to have generators at home. So you have continual energy at your home. So they have blackout. So in that time,
Ah,
so you can do anything. So
yes,
that,
I mean, it has to be like huge time management to still squeeze the best out of the situation. It's not
exactly.
easy. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I think they would need very high project management skills to do that.
definitely. Yeah, so now that
Absolutely.
you talk about project management skills, one of the things that I have been doing, in addition to all the increasing and improving in hard skills, is the soft skills. So today, so I also deliver workshops for how to develop your emotional intelligence. So it's more important than anything else today to survive in this changing, always changing world. So how you manage yourself, your emotion, to be healthy, emotionally speaking, and also to work with others. So emotional intelligence is also a topic that any project management professionals or any professional should embrace to be better and to be healthy. That is most important than anything else.
I think you just, I mean, tackled a very huge pain point that's so hidden, or maybe people are in sort of denial. Whenever you go and get, coached in project management, whatever the topic is, they focus, like they will stress and let you know that soft skills are everything. Like, the behind the scenes is everything. But then, I mean, given what you were studying, they will only, or mostly, let's say, focus on the technical skills.
Right.
So like, yeah, I mean, when you start, if you start now, like what you do, Dr. Prensa, when you start focusing on that hidden part, most of the people will actually miss, you're really helping organizations now from the inside.
Definitely. Yeah, so we need to be as stronger as human beings. If we are stronger,
Love that.
it doesn't matter how much artificial intelligence that now we have a lot of people afraid of the developments of artificial intelligence. So they promise that, for example, project managers, they will be replaced by artificial intelligence, like Gartner Group, that is an independent company. So they said that 80% of the project manager's tasks will be replaced by some kind of artificial intelligence. And that is true. Some people say, no, that was true. So I took the recent class from a free class that everybody can take it from PMI about the generative AI. There's a lot of things that you can do. So it's a tool, but it's not a replacement. We always gonna need humans, but we also gonna need humans that are prepared, humans that they
Yes,
need how to manage.
digitally
And you're
avid
gonna use,
people.
yeah, so you need to use that's available time to do something of more value for the organization. Things that the machine can do. And there are always
Yes,
things that
exactly.
the machine can do that, so no replacement.
Exactly.
But if
Exactly.
you
She needs human to make them,
start,
develop and for innovation. I mean, a machine cannot, and I mean, make itself
exactly.
evolve or develop. I mean, it has to be another human being working on the
Yeah.
machine.
But you need to step up as a professional. So you need to develop other things. So we talk about interpersonal skills. In the past, so I had too many years in the offices and corporations. In the past, we say interpersonal skill is to have good communication skills. But now, so PMI, they conducted research and they found there are four key non-interpersonal skills. So they said power skills. So
Wow.
it's not just about communication. Communication still is important because we are human. We need to communicate and communicate effectively. But what about problem solving?
Yes.
You as a project manager, if you don't have the problem solving skills, So you need to develop that. So what about strategic thinking? Nobody thought about it. That's an interpersonal skill, but thinking strategically is key. So all those skills combined is a PMI called the power skills, and we need to
Wow.
develop. So technology will take care of all the other things, but technology won't take care of all the power skills. That's for humans, not for machines.
Yeah, technology is never going to be able to take care of power skills. That has to come with humans. And
Exactly.
humans are the ones who still can make technology evolve as well. So I mean, humans
Definitely.
have to be in this, luckily.
Exactly.
All right. So one thing that I wanted to ask you, Dr. Prensa, that keeps on everybody's mind, and actually it keeps project management teams up at night. And it's the triple constraint, the time, cost, and scope. So the way that people look at them, like you said, everything changes. And especially before and after COVID, and with everything that's going on in the world. How has triple constraints evolved over the past 5 or 10 years even?
Right. Yeah, that's a good question. So I had the same question as I was teaching. So one of my classes at the university, and that was one of the topics about the triple constraints, the cost, schedule, and time, schedule and cost. So I thought about that. So everything had changed. So I went back when I started. I started working projects in the late 70s. I would say 1979.
Wow.
So by that time we didn't talk about project management, um, and we didn't have the tools that we have. So PMI was founded in the 1969. By the 70s, that was a long time. That probably like
Yeah.
1969. That was like a 10 years ago.
Yeah. Wow. Like very raw.
Yeah, but so nobody knew about the PMI, the Project Management Institute. So what before everything's so the question was, who was a successful project manager by that time? Well, so we didn't call project manager. It was a project coordinator or project
Ooh.
title. That was the title that we used to have by that time. So if you deliver according to the budget, you deliver according to the cost, um, on time and scope. So you were a successful project manager. So everything has changed. So from there, if I take the evolution that PMI has been talking, the project management body of knowledge, then they added a four parameters that was quality. So you can deliver according to triple constraint, but if you don't deliver with quality, you have done nothing. So then they call it the enhanced triple constraint, and they added in the center was the three variables plus quality.
Yes.
And that stayed for a long time until the PMBOK uh, 6th edition.
Yeah. I worked
So
on
that
that one.
was recently, that wasn't that much time ago. So they changed. So they said now the triple constraint or the golden triangle is leadership in one side,
Wow.
business acumen
Wow.
in the bottom, and to the left side, the technical project management.
Whoa.
So that means in order to be a successful project manager, so you need to be a leader. That's similar to the power skill. And now you need to be business knowledgeable. You need to know about the business. And also you need to have all the technical knowledge about project management processes. You need to know the entire project management body of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, so in version 7, so we switch. Now we don't call. So they changed the name of the triple constraint or the golden triangle to the talent triangle, and they did that in version 6. So now we call still we call it the talent triangle, but
Talent triangle. Wow.
so we added 3 different layers. So we have power skills. So we replace the leadership side, and now it's power skills. So power skill is more than leadership.
Of
That
course.
leadership is not enough. So power skills
Part
now,
of power skills.
emotional intelligence is strategic thinking, critical thinking, all of those things, those in that side. So business acumen, you need to know about the business. And the great change was when we have technical project management. So now we have way of working. And way
Whoa.
of working is the WOW is embracing all the changes. So now project management is not plan-based. Project management is change-based. Everything is about
Whoa.
active methodology, like all the agile stuff that basically the PMBOK version 7 is based on adaptive methodologies, on agile and value delivery. Everything adding value. That's the language today. Are you adding value? So what methods we're gonna use? For that reason is that you need to change the way of working. It's not the same working approach that we had before, waterfall or predictive. So now it's more interactive, delivering value faster, and also the human aspect. So the one thing that PMI focuses on is in the creating high performance team. So that's the where you need as a project managers all the power skills to develop these people so they can deliver continuously faster and with better quality and those kind of things. So that's have been an evolution. So let's see, we consider more than 50 years of development from PMI that was founded in 1969 until 2023. That's have been all the evolution. For that reason, it's like agile, now agile and artificial intelligence. So everything is changing the world and how project management profession had changed in
It's beautiful.
basic.
I mean, when you said just now they changed the idea of plans with the way of working. I mean, suddenly plans seem to be so rigid and way of working seem to be more real, and it includes plans plus other things which are real too. So it
Exactly.
just makes more sense. It's just becoming more real. That's
Exactly.
amazing.
Yeah, and that makes sense because business, they are not static. Business are
It's
always
not.
changing because life is always changing. New regulation, new market, new generation, and also so we have a new generation that is taking over the jobs basically. So my generation, so we are here. So we are here to pass our knowledge, experience to the new leaders that are emerging. So and that's forced the organization to change the way of working. It's not that the same anymore.
Absolutely. And given the new demands, the market, which will be influenced by the economic, circumstances, the health circumstances, which where like things happen, political circumstances, and all of this will cause like different needs in the market and the way people think.
Right. Yeah. One thing that sometimes I do I do some philosophy that thinking by myself about how things have changed. Um, so when globalization was around, a lot of organizations, they talk about globalization and the impact of globalization. So what we have is like all the knowledge are in a bucket. All the humanity knowledge is in one bucket. It's like we have access. But before the globalization, for example,
Yes,
Germany, they were doing their own stuff. But now we know what
exactly.
Germany is doing. We know what
Japan.
India is doing, Japan, US. So it's like everything is there. So when you go, for example, in LinkedIn, it's a professional network. It's also you have the perspectives of everyone around the world. So I know, so the knowledge is common. So we have access to that. So
It's so true.
I think that's the consequence of globalization that happened too many years ago. So that's
Yeah.
that is happening now. So for that reason, everything is changing because we have evolving knowledge. Always I'm looking things differently. So I had the new perspectives that I didn't have before. So that's the I think the benefits of the globalization that the humans is they are taking the benefits of that now that they didn't have before.
And given that they can access, especially after 2020, where like everybody went online, you can access anything easily online. They started feeding the online, system. So, well, now it makes it easier even for people to come up with innovations because they can access everything and they can try everything, and then they can come up with their own invention and their own methodology, which is amazing.
Right. Yeah, well, I think if you think about all the innovation that happened from those innovators, and you can mention any name, Leonardo da Vinci, to mention the guy that invented the telecommunication. So those people, what they have time to think. So what is happening now with innovation, because there's a lot of automation. So we have time to think.
It's
So for
beautiful.
those people, that's my advice. For those people that are afraid of the artificial intelligence taking over my job, so it will take over the repetitive tasks, the processes. Those tasks can be automated. So you have the time now to think out of the box
Beyond.
and create and be more creative and bring innovation. So so that's the thing is like the history is being repeated because now
So true.
we have time because so I don't need I can have a process doing something there, but I had the time. So let me think ahead. Let me do something different that nobody had done it.
On how to improve the process instead of just being busy all day and night, being stuck in the
Exactly.
process.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Um, so I mean, given all of the experience that you have, and I know the kind of integrity that you have, Dr. Prensa, you are big on humanity. What is your big mission on helping people and taking care of their projects?
Yeah. So at these times, so I'm gonna mention a names that I respect him very much as a professional and also as a contributor in the profession is Dr. Ricardo Viana. So he's listening to the video, so I respect a lot from him, from his professionalism, and also Antonio Nieto, Dr. Antonio Nieto. They have been very great contributors of the project management profession. So, what I would say, myself is that we are here to create a legacy. So that's my big motivation, that I had the opportunity to be in a lot of leadership positions in different companies. I learned a lot, so I never stopped learning. So I'm still learning, studying for other certifications because life is that way. But my mission, as you ask, is to pass on the knowledge, experience to the new leaders that are emerging in the society. Sharing my knowledge that I do through my workshops or my conference is so that's my big aspiration at this point of my life is to
Wow,
continue
that's huge.
developing until God had me here in the earth.
That's amazing. Like because you are a people's person and because you are so up to what's going on with technology, don't you think, Dr. Prensa, and that's something that really like is preoccupying my thinking as a question. Don't you think that when people get like, hyped up with technology and sort of start, going deep and understanding and using technology, do you think that this would eat or like take away from human beings' emotional intelligence? I mean, on any scale?
I think that we may have distraction because when you get involved in technology, so you get distracted from your environment, from your surroundings. So we need to be careful about that. So we use the technologies, our
Yeah.
tools to help us to be more efficient, to deliver faster, maybe more accuracy, but won't replace your humanity. So we are human and we need to be aware of our surroundings. So I don't think that technology will replace the humanity. So we are emotional, and we need to work with that, and we need to be careful about not to get in the trap or just being there. I did that when I was studying. So I thought, so you are a better professional if you are let's say, so I used to say, so I have better relationship with the machine. This is my life. So I used to say that. So I figured out that in with that kind of mentality attitude, so I never progressed in the organization that I was, where they never considered me to be in a leadership position or to be a supervisor, to be a manager, because this guy is just very inside the machine. Because I used to be an assembler, a developer, a coder. So that was very low level computer language, so I thought, so I am scientific, I am the best, I can talk better with the machine. So that doesn't fly. So we are human. So then I figured out, well, why are you doing that? So I see other people that they don't know as much as I know, and they are progressing better than me. So I said, so I'm doing something wrong. So I figured out that
Mm-hmm.
what.
Mm-hmm.
So I started. So I took acting classes. I took public speaking classes. I started changing myself. So I said, no, I need to be connected more with people. So after I did that, everything changed. So then I was a manager, then I was a senior vice president, I was vice president, I was a chief information officer. But the only thing, the technical knowledge, I still have the technical knowledge, but I changed the human aspect. So
Wow.
that's something that we need to take in consideration. So technology won't replace never the emotional intelligence. For that reason, I
What
want the
would you
people to take
advise
more about power skills. So that's something that
our
everyone needs to
skills?
develop that.
So like, what would you advise people specifically in project management, IT fields to do in order to sort of maintain this kind of equilibrium between going deep, like go deep into technology, use it, make the best advantage of it, but keep the emotional intelligence, like keep your eyes on improving your EQ. What should they do like on a day-to-day basis, Dr. Prensa, to make sure they're not like, being sucked up by technology?
Right. So in project management, so we have a tool that also is not something that has a long time ago, but and if I'm not mistaken, in the fifth edition of the PMBOK, when instead of having 9 knowledge management area, so PMI added the stakeholder management.
Yes.
Stakeholder management knowledge area was added by that time. So PMI realized that one of the most important things is connecting, at the end of the day, is connecting with people. So things like a stakeholder engagement plan. So the first time that I saw that, what's that? Engagement. How can you manage? How can you plan for engagement? So that's a very important thing. So what I said for the project manager is to embrace everything around the 10 knowledge management area about engaging stakeholders. Engaging stakeholders, that requires a lot of emotional intelligence. So how you gonna have empathy with people, how I care about you. So everything else are tools for you to satisfy your stakeholders, and the stakeholders are your customers. So one of the principles now project management is based on principle, the 12 principles of project management as documented in the PMBOK version 7. So one of the first principles is that you need to be a stewardship. You need to be a stewardship. You need to take care of all the resources, but for the sake of satisfying your customers, the clients, the stakeholders. And the same value is from Agile. The 12th value of Agile, the first value is customers, customer satisfaction. And that means everything is about developing connections. A lot of people talk about relationship. I like to talk about connection. Connections are stronger than the relationships.
I bet like soon there are going to be a lot of sciences about this, Dr. Prensa, about creating connectedness, especially that people are working on a huge scale remotely. I think, people will become aware that this is a huge, gap, and that it needs a lot of information, a lot of practice too, and a lot of role models.
Exactly. So yeah, so with that question, so I like so I consider that I'm curious. I like to know.
You are.
So, so that triggers something that I'm going to look if there's something out there about how to engage remote stakeholders. Because when PMI wrote that 10 chapter about project stakeholder management, so we didn't have the pandemic. So everything had changed. So now how can we engage the stakeholder without that touch, to be close? Because before in project management, one of the best practices to enhance collaboration was collocation. But most of the companies, they work remotely. So collocation is not a reality anymore.
Yeah.
So how can we engage stakeholders working remotely? That's a good topic to research. And if anybody that listened to our conversation, so think about that and start publishing something in LinkedIn for people.
I'll drop a question. I mean, referring on this particular question, to answer this particular question, I'll drop a line for people to add their thoughts in the comments when they watch this episode, because that's a very good question, Dr. Prensa.
Exactly. And we have a lot of
challenge for people.
That we have a lot of people out there.
Yeah. We're going to get some amazing ideas.
Exactly.
So like you're not the kind of traditional project management trainer or coach, Dr. Prensa. You have your own formula and you're such a unique person. And you are sort of, you can balance between, short technical aspects and deep emotionally intelligent and emotional and humane aspects at the same time. Who are the people who influenced you and who have helped you become the person you are today?
Yeah, I would say that I learned from the life that I had. Sometimes it's a little emotional for me, um, but I didn't meet my father. So my father died when I was 1 year old. So I don't have any memory of that. So my mom, she was pregnant. She had 8 months. My one of my brothers, sorry, 8 months pregnant. So so I learned a lot from her. She was a hard worker and she worked for everything. So I have all the memory about her. She's fighting for the kids to study, and and so I used to say, for example, when I was kid, Mom, I'm tired, and she used to say, No, you can be tired. Poor people don't get tired. You need to work and you need to study because you don't want to stay in the same condition that you are. Because when my dad died, she didn't have anything. So my dad, he was in the military, so she didn't get the pension and the kind of things. So that created something since I was younger, as I said, so you need to work. And the only things that you have is to get better in something. You need to study and you need to get better. And that's, I would say, that passion that I have inside of me. So I need to get out of this. I need to get better. And that sense of competition is that made me the person that I am. And they also, I came from the very bottom until I reached. I said, for example, when I was in high school, what is the top in a profession? Oh, so you need to have a PhD. He said, I want to be a PhD. So I'm blessed that most of the things that I plan in my life, I got it. So for example, I said, I want to get retired at the age of 60. So last year I turned 60. So I got retired, not retired from work because I think like my mom that she passed away because COVID in 2020. So and she was 87 and she is still working. She's always telling me, and my brothers, I want to work. I said, Mom, you have worked too much in life. It's not time for work. They said, no, I want to work. So the same for me. So I think I had a lot of good mentors along the ways in that life. So I started working in IT when I was 17 years old. So I have a lot of people that I'm very grateful for finding them. I have other bad people also, but I learned from a lot of good leaders, a lot of good people along the ways. And also for that reasons, I'm blessed that I have those people in my way that help me to be the person that I am today.
Wow. I mean, you just reminded me that there are a lot of people, great people in history. And most of the great people that I have studied in history actually lost their dads at a very young age. And it was their mother who actually, raised
Really.
them up and taught them about life. I mean, something has to come with that formula. It's not a coincidence.
Exactly.
That kind of situation will create great people in a way. And that's good news for
Exactly.
all the single moms who are taking care of their kids out there.
Yeah. yeah, responsible. That's very committed. She didn't need to do it, but she did it, and she did it with hers. And we still, every time that we talk about her, we get emotional. So she was a great
Of
mom,
course.
and we learned a lot about like a work ethics from her, honesty, integrity. So we learned a lot from her, and she didn't go to school, but
Oh my goodness. Can you imagine kind
she
of intelligence?
exactly that she knows a lot about life, about respect. That's something that we got that from her.
That's massive. And that's like, that's that's good news for a lot of people who are listening to us today, Dr. Prensa. Thank you for sharing this story. It's going to be helping a lot of people out there and a lot
Yeah.
of kids too.
Yeah,
And
thank
look,
you very much.
obviously she did an amazing job,
Sadly.
obviously. Yeah, I thank her. I have not met her, but I do thank her from the bottom of my
Yeah.
heart.
Yeah,
Um,
so that's the reasons that I'm doing what I'm doing, trying to help people and talk to people because I have experience. So I I got here the hard way, but at the same time I'm blessed that I got here and
Absolutely.
never.
Did your experience, Dr. Prensa, make you want to sort of become uh, to have a kind of fatherly role in your learner's life
Mhm.
to give them what you wished you would have had because they need that kind of support and that kind of guidance?
Exactly. Yeah,
Wow.
that's a great motivation for me. Yeah.
So would you actually like people to look at you as their guide in a fatherly way and in that kind of intimate and very humanly connected way?
Definitely. Yeah. I have a lot of people, so also my previous team, uh, they, that they saw me that way because I always care about them and not just for the sake of say, for example, good morning. If when I say good morning to you, it's because I care about you. I care about your families. I always have been my relationship and thanks God, everywhere that I have been, so I left good friends. I find people sometimes I talking, for example, I was in Puerto Rico, so I came across with some people. Oh, Tony, yes, yeah, yes, it's me. So as every time that I go to somewhere, I find something that someone that or they was my student in university, or we were together. So that so there is an interesting video for people that want to see it from Denzel Washington. I like that video. It's a motivational video. They said that was his speech that he did at Penn State University for graduation. And he mentioned something that is very interesting. When your times come, when you die, what you want to see around your grave, and what you want people to say about you. So that's how I want people to say that see me as you mentioned, that someone that helped me, someone that took the time to listen to me when I had a situation. So that's my aspiration when my times come. So that's how I want people think about
Wow, that's huge, and I'll make sure to get the link from you and add it to the
me.
episode so people can actually go and watch this video as well. So,
Yeah.
like being this huge role model, this guide, this connected um, role model with your learners and with your audience,
Mhm.
what is it that you want to share with them or give them heads up on in order to make their work in project management a success in order to be able to actually fulfill and meet their clients' expectations?
Right. So the first thing is that you need to understand as a professional in project management is that you are, that's what I said to everyone that participate in the PMP review calls or something like that, that you are a business person. So as a business person, the number one is your customer, because a business without customers is not a business. So so you need to see it that way. And so you are a business person because when an organization decide to put money in your hands to manage projects, those are projects are business. So some people, they see projects like an object, like things. No, projects are business. There is an investment, and the companies trust you to manage that investment. But also you need to think, what I'm doing here. So it's not a project. You are doing something for lives. You're helping someone. That's what I did when I was working for this organization that we're implementing solutions. No, we are helping the citizens of Guatemala. We are helping the citizens of Peru. We are helping the citizens of Mexico. So you need to see it that way. So a lot of discussion nowadays about outputs versus outcomes. So always think about the outcome. The outcome is the ultimate result. How these things gonna help humans. So when you see it that way, that's gonna give you the motivation to do the best, and you're gonna be a successful project manager because you are motivated. So, but you have a great motivation. It's not a motivation because I'm gonna finish my project according to the triple constraint or whatever the success parameters are. So because I'm here, I'm helping the humans, I'm helping people, I'm helping my countries. If I help my organization to deliver this service, I'm helping my country. So that's the way that you need to see it.
Wow, it's like helping the economy. It's like helping countries, helping humanity.
Exactly.
And it's not just putting money in their hands and trust them on the money. They trust them on the people.
Exactly. Exactly. No, it's on many lives and costs.
Motivation is unbreakable.
Exactly.
You're unstoppable.
So I work for Walmart. It's one of the phrases that I like for the Walmart culture from Sam Walton. He said, how can you do ordinary people to do extraordinary